G'day, I'm just a retired guy. I've got a bit of time on my hands, so what I try to do is repair, replace things that might be broken, keep them out of the tip, and if I can in the way, save a little bit of money. So let's see what we've got here today. And today we've got a wheelbarrow. Picked it up on Marketplace, so I'm giving it away or throwing it out because it's got a crack through here. It's also got a crack down here. So I'm going to have a go at repairing that, see if we can't get it back to where it can be fully functional again and give it itself another 10 years of life. So let's have a go, see what we can do. So the first thing I'm going to do is give it a bit of a clean up with this fiberglass cleanup solution. It's basically just acetone, and so we'll put a little bit onto a rag and give that crack a bit of a clean, see how we go. And this is basically just acetone. I'm just going to clean up around the edges. And we'll move on to the next step, which is gluing it up using some JB Weld. So I've got my JB Weld here. I'm going to put some into this little container that it came with and apply some of that into the crack. I think that's going to be plenty. Give it a little mix around. Sets in 5 minutes this. So I've got 5 minutes to get this done. Not sure I've made enough. Might just make a little bit more up. Make sure it gets all into the crack everywhere. Got enough to put on the bottom one, which you probably can't see at the moment. Now, I'm going to use some of this duct tape to try and close that crack up a little bit. Doesn't matter if it's not smooth. we're going to leave that for 24 hours. Come back and see how we go. Okay, so it's now the next day. I decided the tape wasn't really holding it in line enough, so I've just used a clamp to try and squeeze the two edges closer to an alignment. And now the glue has set, and we'll take off the tape and the clamp and the wood, and we'll see how we've gone. So there's really good alignment where I had the clamp, not so much on the edges, but the glue has filled up most of the holes, but not all of them. What we're going to do is we're going to try to put in some mesh. So I've got some mesh here. I'm going to cut a little piece out and try and weld it in. Let's see how we go. So I've just traced out roughly where I want the mesh to go. Just going to get a pair of scissors. I tried tin snips, but they tended to crush it rather than cut it. These scissors are working pretty well. Doesn't have to be really accurate. We're going to melt that into the crack using a modified soldering iron. I've replaced the tip with a bolt. We're going to heat it up and we're going to just push it in. It's a bit of a slow old process, but it's definitely working. Let's stop the video and we'll get back to it. So we just hold it on until the plastic underneath, you can see the plastic underneath starting to melt. And then I just kind of wiggle it and move it along. That gives it time to cool down and stay in place. I've got to say the glue hasn't been enjoying the heat. But the glue is holding between the actual joins where it was in between, but on the surface it's been peeling off. I'm also going to get a bit of plastic like a cable ties and melt some on top of here so it forms a better surface. Okay, I'll let you know when it's finished. So I've now finished the welding. It's my first attempt at plastic welding. Looks a bit rough, but it feels very, very, very secure. So I think I'm going to give myself an 8 out of 10 for functionality, maybe a 4 out of 10 for aesthetics. I'll get a bit of sandpaper and just clean up the rough edges. Let me know what you think in the comments.